So, Maki just killed the entire Zenin clan, and today we're explaining why she had to do it, and why her dad tried to kill her in the first place. To start things off, now that the Culling game has begun, each student at Jujutsu High had been given a different role. If we go through them one by one, Yuta's role is to join the Culling game immediately so he can gather information about what's happening. Remember, at some point over the next 10 days, Megumi's sister has to join the Culling games, and so because of that, by Yuta going in there now, it means that he can gather information and gather points that might be helpful later on. Meanwhile, Yuji and Megumi's role is to recruit a new ally, someone who can help them fight during the Culling game. The person they're trying to recruit is Hakari, who's a third-year student that's currently suspended. In episode 3 of JJK season 3, Yuta described Hakari as being even stronger than him, or having the potential to be stronger than him. But, like they said in the episode, not everyone agrees with that statement. Lastly, Maki's role was to just gather some cursed tools, which were in the possession of the Zenin clan. This is where things get political, because right now, the Zenin clan is split into two factions, which we'll call the Megumi faction and the Conservative faction. Legally speaking, the Megumi faction has all the power, because at the start of JJK Season 3, Fushiguro was named as the new head of the clan. Being clan head means that Megumi has authority over all the other Zenin, not to mention that their money, their cursed tools, their assets, all of that just goes to him. This was a surprise to everyone, including Fushiguro himself, but the reason it happened was pretty simple. Many years ago, Toji made a deal with Naobito for Megumi to join the clan, and if that deal had happened, then he would have been with them from a young age. The problem is that Gojo single-handedly cancelled the deal, and as a result, the Zenin clan lost their most valuable curse technique. Naobito's wish was for Megumi to join the clan if something happened to Gojo, and of course in Shibuya, something did in fact happen to Gojo. This is why, after Naobito's death, his will named Fushiguro as the new head of the family, and in this flashback, Maki convinced him to take on the role. With Megumi as the leader, Maki should have just been free to walk into the Zenin clan and take whatever weapon she wanted. However, things obviously weren't that easy, because like I said in the intro, her dad, Ogi Zenin, was planning to kill her. I'd say there are three main reasons why Ogi wanted to do this, and the first is that he's just incredibly salty that he was never head of the Zenin clan. For context, if we look at the Zenin family tree, you can see that Ogi is the son of a previous clan head, his brother Naobito was the most recent clan head, and his other brother was the clan head before that. What this means is that Ogi is the only man in his immediate family who was never head of the Zenin clan, and in his mind, Maki and Mai are to blame. As we know, Maki was born with low curse energy and was bullied by pretty much her entire family. Likewise, Mai wasn't anything special, and so all of this had a bad impact on Ogi's reputation. In his mind, he saw himself as being equal to Naobito in terms of being a sorcerer, and so, to him, the reason he wasn't made the clan head is because his children are just terrible. Now, what's funny about this is that Gege Akutami, the author of Jujutsu Kaisen, he confirmed that Naobito is way stronger than Ogi, but Ogi was just a little bit delusional and he didn't know Naobito's full strength, and so yeah, he sees himself as being on that level when really, he's just not on that level. Regardless, the fact is that he blames his children for not being clan head, and so he was just waiting for any excuse to kill them. Luckily for Ogi, when Megumi got his promotion, Ogi finally had an excuse, and I'll explain why. I mentioned before that Megumi becoming the leader meant that all of the assets passed to him, and this is something the Conservative faction didn't like. At the same time, they couldn't just kill their clan leader, since Megumi has a very good relationship with the Gojo clan and the Kamo clan. Politically speaking, they couldn't just murder him for no good reason, because given his relationships, it would be a very bad look. This is the reason why Naoya was called reckless, because he was just out there trying to hunt down Megumi when that's his clan head, like you shouldn't be doing this. When it comes to Ogi, he was way smarter than this, and so he came up with a more sophisticated plan to take out Fushiguro. The idea was that the Zenin clan would take advantage of the new laws that came into effect at the end of Season 2. In case you forgot, one of those laws was that Gojo has been expelled from Jujutsu Society, and that it's a crime to try and free him from the prison realm. As Gojo's student, it was unavoidable that Megumi would try to break this rule, and so this was Ogi's justification to execute him and his allies. Killing Maki and Mai would be the icing on the cake, because by murdering your own daughters, it would prove his loyalty to Jujutsu HQ. After all, killing your own children, it shows that you value Jujutsu Society above everything else, and so yeah, it would strengthen the trust that Jujutsu HQ has in him. For Ogi, he values that trust more than the lives of Maki and Mai, and so yeah, this is the third reason why he planned to kill them. With all that said, it's time to explain why Maki massacred everyone, but very quickly before we get into it, if you want to support the channel, all of my merch is 10% off for the next week with the code 10shadows. So if you or a friend want the toad hat or the hat featuring Maharaga's wheel, then now is the time. The link in my description will automatically apply the discount, but like I said, it's only for the next week. Okay, back to the video. For a long time, the Zenin clan has treated women like trash, and generally they've just been expected to serve the men. Maki tried to break this cycle by going to Jujutsu High, but even then, her family used their power to keep her ranked as a grade 4. Despite that, she still had hopes of one day being strong enough to lead the clan, and from that position she'd be able to change everything. Sadly, in this episode, she realized the Zenin will never change as long as you have people like Ogi. Someone like this would never accept their leader being a woman without curse energy, not to mention he's also just evil. As a result, Maki made the choice to destroy everything following the death of her sister Mai. For context, in case you haven't seen the episode, when Maki arrived to collect the weapons, Mai was already there, having been defeated by their dad. On top of that, the cursed tools that Maki came to get, they were all missing since Ogi was illegally hiding them from Megumi's faction. What followed this was him then defeating Maki in a fight, and then throwing both of his children into a room filled with cursed spirits. His intention was that the cursed spirits would eat his daughters alive, and an interesting piece of trivia is that Toji went through the exact same thing. According to the guidebook, Toji was abused from a young age due to not having curse energy, and the scar on his mouth was from curses that attacked him in this exact same room. Anyhow, with both of the Zenin twins on the verge of death, Mai willingly sacrificed herself so that Maki could get stronger. The reason this works is that in the Jujutsu world, identical twins like this share the same curse energy. In fact, Maki and Mai are not the only examples of this, but the thing that makes them special is that the curse energy wasn't divided 50-50. We know this because Maki's curse energy was so low that she couldn't even see curses, whereas Mai had an average amount and she also had a curse technique. In this scene, Mai used the last of her power to create a weapon for her sister, and by doing this, when she died, she took away both her own curse energy and Maki's curse energy as well. The end result is that Maki became an empty vessel like Toji, and she didn't have a single drop of curse energy in her system. This is why her physical strength improved after Mai's death, because in Jujutsu, you have to lose something in order to gain something. In this case, Maki lost her curse energy and her sister, and in exchange, she got an upgraded body and an amazing sword. The sword Mai gave her was a replica of the Split Soul Katana, which is a famous curse tool that was used by Toji in Season 2. As the name suggests, this sword is able to cut directly into the soul, meaning that, regardless of how physically tough you may be, she's still able to cut straight through you. Without much effort, Maki sliced through her dad, killing him instantly, despite him trying to aura farm with his technique. Speaking of techniques, if you want a detailed breakdown of the different Zenin clan abilities, then I have a video on my channel from about 5 years ago where I talked about this already, and the information is still good because that video was based on the chapters that this episode is based on, so it's all the same thing. But for this video right now, I wanted to focus on why Maki did what she did, and also a couple of other questions that people might have after the episode. Now, before Mai passed away, she made her sister promise to destroy everything, and so that was obviously a huge motivation, fulfilling her sister's dying wish. But on top of that, there were about 3 other things. I mean, there's the Zenin clan's misogyny, there's the fact that they abused her when she was young, and there's also the fact that they will never change. They're just very stubborn, very conservative is the word that's typically used, and the Zenin clan and Kamo clan, they are the most conservative clans. The Gojo clan is the only clan that's willing to change and adapt with the times and to accept different forms of strength. The Zenin clan is not like that, and it will never be like that. Now, besides Ogi, Maki's first victims were the Kukuru unit, and this unit is all the Zenin men who don't have curse techniques. When we look at this family picture, it's crazy that even within a sorcerer family, you only have this many people that have actual talent. From that point of view, you can understand why Naobito wanted Megumi to join so badly, because honestly, these numbers, they're just terrible. Now, after brutally dicing up the Kukuru unit, Maki's next victims were the Hei, and for context, the Hei are the strongest sorcerers in the Zenin clan. The Hei includes Jinichi, who's Toji's brother, and he has a pretty epic curse technique which converts curse energy into these massive physical punches. There's also this old guy whose powers remind me of Overhaul from My Hero Academia, but it's funny to compare them because the tone is so different, because Overhaul was allowed to live after everything he did, whereas in JJK, Maki killed this old man without any remorse. Following that, she clashed against Ranta Zenin, who's the most polite member of the Hei, according to Volume 17. In my opinion, Ranta's technique is very similar to Curse Speech in that he can restrict someone's movements. I think the only real difference is that he's using his eyes instead of his voice. The problem for Ranta is that if someone is still able to move while they're under his technique, then the blowback is pretty huge. Once Maki broke free and decapitated Junichi, the only sorcerer left to deal with was Naoya himself. As Naobito's strongest son, Naoya believed that it was his right to be the next head of the Zenin clan, and, he kind of deluded himself into thinking that he was on the same level as Toji or Gojo, or at least he believed that he could reach that level. I will say that projection sorcery is one of the best techniques in my opinion, but at the same time, it will never get you to these heights. I'm sorry, it will never happen. On a basic level, the power works by dividing 1 second into 24 unique frames, and in each of those frames, Naoya has to choose a different movement. What's important to realize though, is that if we look at this clip from season 2, you can see that the user has to imagine how they want to move, and then the technique will do the movement for them. This is what allows them to move at unnatural speeds, and if they touch someone else, then that person also has to imagine 24 movements. In this scene, notice how when Dagon gets touched, he actually tries to imagine the movements, but he's not fast enough to think of the entire 24. He can only think of 6 before the time runs out. Because he didn't think fast enough, Dagon was then frozen for 1 second, leaving him completely exposed. Now, in this episode, Maki's upgraded body allowed her to see those 24 unique movements, and so by fighting Naoya, she could literally see how his technique was working. Remember, even Yuji wasn't able to work this out, but because Maki is just on such a high level right now, she was able to see everything. Then, because she was aware of this, it meant that when Naoya touched her, she had already mentally prepared to do those 24 movements. The end result is that she didn't freeze when he expected her to, and, as a consequence, she was able to just knock him out. Following that, Maki went on to claim a lot more victims, including many people who weren't at the compound on that day. However, possibly the most tragic victim was Maki's own mother, and before we end the video, I want to explain the meaning behind this scene. If we briefly flash back to the JJK movie, we saw that as a child, Maki's mother wished that she had never given birth to her. Her reason was that Maki is a disgrace to the Zenin clan since she couldn't even see curses. Now, this is obviously a terrible thing to say, but beyond that, Maki's mom was also very subservient to the men in the family, and unlike Maki, she was always playing the role that the men wanted her to play. This is why this specific scene is so interesting, because as Maki is heading towards Ogi, her mom tries to stop her from going. There are only 2 reasons why she would have done this. Option number 1 is that she was trying to stop her husband from killing her daughter, or option number 2, she wanted Maki to stop because women aren't allowed in this room. If her motivation was option 1, then it means that deep down she was trying to protect her daughter from getting killed, but if it's option 2, then all it means is that she was just brainwashed by the Zenin clan's misogyny. That's why in this scene when Maki approaches her mother, she was trying to figure out what her motivations were, and it's safe to say that she didn't pass the test. Maki's mother doesn't even really know what Maki's talking about, and so, if she was really trying to protect her daughter, I think she would know what Maki was talking about in this moment. The fact that she doesn't remember, it kind of implies that the only reason she was trying to stop Maki is because women aren't allowed in this room. That being said, although Maki sliced her neck, she wasn't as forceful as she could have been because, Maki's mom was still alive for a while at least. This gave her just enough time to find Naoya, who by this point wasn't able to focus his cursed energy. Even though we don't know Maki's mum's full life story or anything, what we do know is that she has been oppressed by the Zenin clan, and so this was a unique opportunity to get revenge. By stabbing Naoya, the person who she was serving until recently, she got revenge for probably decades worth of abuse, of mistreatment that she would have received from the Zenin clan. And, her revenge was only possible thanks to Maki. That's why, in her final moment, she finally changes her tune, and she admits that she was glad that she gave birth to her kids. With that said, my friends, we've explained why the Zenin clan had to go, and we've explained why Ogi was planning to kill his own children. So with that said, if you like the video, don't forget to like it, don't forget to subscribe, and also don't forget to check out my 4th Wall store if you want to get the Toad hat or the Maharaga hat. At the moment, I'm working on a different video about rare curse techniques, and when I say rare, I mean they only appeared once in the series, so yeah, hopefully it won't take too much longer, definitely before the next episode, at latest. So yeah, stay tuned for that one, and until the next one, peace out.